Good morning. Welcome to a morning review on Tuesday, the 17th of November. This is Kim Watson speaking for Easy Trader. Okay, looking at the euro dollar first, and let's just run through where we are. I've got this on a weekly view at the moment because I just wanted to show, let me just broaden this a little bit. Wanted to show the prior lows there. If we do continue breaking down on this sort of level, there's sort of several levels. There's this demand area sitting below, probably kicking in from about 105.84 sort of area. It also has the monthly S2 down there, which is a possible sort of target stroke support area. Okay, looking from a daily perspective of what we've got here, and there is a bit of divergence kicking in on the dailies here, which may take effect, but like anything on the bigger time frames, the overrun can be a bit bigger, so it may just run back down to one of these support areas, even if it's the 1.06 area. But there's sort of key areas which some traders will be looking at, and it may just run through that 106 down to that prior, that's the low of the bodies previously. Okay, looking then the 4 hourlies, what's that telling us? Not a lot really. Let's just get a better picture on it, broaden it out a little bit. And what's it really showing us? Well, there was a sort of head and shouldery pattern that was sort of sitting there at one stage, which is probably being triggered and part way through, so that could just follow through a little bit more, but not a lot else in terms of what he's doing. He's just confirming what the hourlies are doing, and in true form, it's you've got this series of lower highs kicking in all the way through here, lower lows, and we just popped one in here. Now we have got a bit of 60-minute divergence, so perhaps this is a bit of support here into this S1. We have got the daily pivot up here untouched, so there is a possibility, if we do see some sort of breaking of this sort of movement, that we could head back for that. There's of course the 21s in the way, the 34 moving average, and then we've got the daily pivot, so there's a sort of halfway house on the way to that daily pivot if we see a break this morning of these highs here. Okay, looking then at the euro, let's have a look at the pound. So the pound running to its 8 moving average upper bands there, just rolling over, just may possibly be finding support back on the 8 moving average again. It went through, held into it, run the other side, and just coming back, finding maybe some support, still sitting on my mean regression line there. And 50 moving average at 50 is moving on the 4 hourly. It's very, very sharply down. Yeah, oops. Make it a little bit less sharp, there you go, but still 45-degree angle down, so not necessarily a support as such, and it could just slide through that anyway. But in the shorter time frame as we come down, sorry, let's just look at that, that's fine. In the shorter time frame as we come down in at 60-minute, we have now sort of confirm these lower highs in, because we took out through the Asian session the previous day's low. Now it's a bit messy from where it is again here. It looks like it might have clipped its daily pivot on that first bar there. It's air kissed it at least, so it doesn't really give it so much of a target. If we were dropping out here, well, and if this was a turn point in the market, there's a possibility it could follow the euro, come back up towards its 21s, head back up towards that 50. It's starting to get a little bit extended maybe from the 50. It's obviously the R1 target is a potential as well, but again, it's got quite a bit of resistance to break through to get towards it at the moment. But it still looks relatively bearish, although there may be opportunities to sell into the sort of 21 area, moving back down, but probability of it going much lower isn't massive in terms of touching these S2 pivots. Dollar yen. Dollar yen looks like it's going up for a daily divergence. There's a chance of it running back into its monthly R2 pivot. There was supply around that sort of area, supply around that area previously. So if it does pop into that area, there's certainly some chance that it could roll over. It's very extended away from the 50, 34, etc. and the 20s. It's got quite extended, just been going up and up and up. But remember, yesterday's GDP was a bit of a game changer in terms of some people's perceptions of the yen, and possibly institutional traders have looked at it a little bit different because they've gone back into recession. However, how long they'll hold on to that, it's been pretty poor for a long time. We may at some point see this come back. Daily pivot's a long way away, though. It's I say a long way away. It's not as long as it looks. 44 pips, easily attainable in that case. So if it does start selling off, there's a possibility. It's not as bad as it looks. Looks a lot worse, but the movement in the yen recently has been less. So, okay, moving across to the Aussie dollar, and we've got this sort of movement down again here. It sort of didn't hang into it. It put a pivot swing in yesterday on the daily candles, and it's broken the lows of that, but finding a bit of support where we're sitting at the moment. But that's generally a bearish sort of pattern. We're doing the same sort of thing on the 4 hourlies, which may suggest a bit more downside. However, when you look down to the 60-minute, we're finding a bit of support, and there's sort of a divergence on the 60-minute. Probably shows up better on the 4 hourly. No, there's no divergence on the 4 hourly. Just looking through this. So, okay, take that one out. But it has run into the S1, but it's hit the daily pivot. So for me, in terms of target-wise, it spoils this for today for trading it. So I should probably be leaving it alone, but there is a chance that if the others are rallying, also if they do make any move to the upside, it could run up to that 50 MA. And finally, I'm going to have a quick look at the Canadian dollar, as it seems to be heading back north again. Really must label up my screens. Heading back up there towards those prior highs there. Certainly looks like a possibility. Funny old day yesterday, it recovered but in the afternoon, but at the moment, certainly with the higher lows, it broke through, and it's just continuing to push through. And there's just a series of higher lows and generally higher highs in here. Now we've already hit the daily R1. A break of the upper side here. Break of the upside here could point to a double top sort of territory. It pushes up to those prior highs there. Maybe if it breaks down, we could see a move back to its S1, 50 MA. Not so much interest in that for me because of the distance it's got there. But there is a possibility. If we do see a break of yesterday's lows, well, of course, that may suggest it'll certainly give us a lower high, and it may suggest a bit of a short-term turning point at least, or will suggest. Right, okay, that's it for me. Now, news-wise today, we do have an inflation figure out this morning coming out for the UK at 9:30, so key number. May get some volatility out of that and a potential something or other coming out, a trade. Just looking last time, it's expected to come in at minus 0.1, so which is not necessarily where they really want it to be doing. It's not really showing the signs of growth, not confirming growth. And then we've got German economic sentiment coming out at 10 o'clock, very small mover for the euro there, and the overall European economic sentiment coming out at 10 o'clock as well, but neither of those really kicked the market too much. Maybe we could get a 10 pip spot or something. Then later in the afternoon at 1:30, we've got the US inflation figures coming out, CPI coming out. The core figure is the most important of the two, expected to come out at 0.2. Now that may give us a little bit of a kicker from there as well, because if it's significantly down on the 0.2, that may take the heat off the interest increase on the 16th of December when they meet. Right, that's it for me. Hope you have a great day. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Bye for now.